In association with SUNY Maritime Athletics, the Ball Habatim presents the Yeshiva Maccabees versus the Maritime Privateers.
Still an issue. A slow start still playing out. We only have, about 8 minutes to change. That's Matan scores his 6th point of the game. 8 minutes and change left to the first half, and the Macs really not pushing this lead too much. Hopefully out of this timeout, you'll start seeing it again. A big second half team is Yeshiva, so you'll start to see that a little bit more as they start to push. We'll start to see some of that dynamism going on. So Max coming out of the timeout up 21-12. Not a whole lot of action in this game. Appreciate it, Ben. Maybe it was just turning the volume up. Feel free, guys. If you're fans, like I said, put it in the chat if you want to come on. We can throw it out to you. Happy to have people join me here. Again, like I said, we were supposed to have more people on this broadcast. More people doing a little bit of a Manning cast style, less of a game call. But now sitting here on my own, feels a little bit awkward to be alone. To have one of my kids jump on, make me feel a little bit better. Maritime just not able to listen. These guys shoot under 30% on the season. Halpert with an open three. Drains it, and the Macs are now doubling them up. 24-12. Good to see Eitan hitting those open shots. Again, I think push this lead, then hopefully we can start seeing some of the bench players, some of the guys that we've been looking to see all season. Again, another missed three. It's really, it's really rough. Listen, Maritime comes into this game winless in the conference, 0 for 9. The last time they played the Macs, they did not play last season, but last time they played the Macs, it's unreal. 38-point loss last time, 44-point loss the year before in 2019, around the same time of year. It hasn't been pretty for Maritime against the Macs, and roughly with the same players. Again, they are led by seniors. Gray, who has the ball now, Donovan, number 4, and Mike Regan, again, all seniors that make plays. Nice move by Gray and Juan to finish. Listen, he has some flashes. He's put up 27 points a game this year and can score if given the room. Again, a small guard that can make his way to the basket, and we've seen Yeshiva struggle at times with guards who can make their way to the hole, really protecting the rim, especially when Jordan's out of the game like he is now. That's what you like to see. Listen, Maritime, I guess they're putting the Yeshiva on Yeshiva by having nobody on the foul line. Or nobody, waiting for the free throw. But Gray hits it, and we're back to 24-15. Again, Macs need to start to get some separation. This is a team, not that you can compare teams that win, but when the Macs beat Medgar Evers by 45, Medgar Evers beat this team by 10. So this is not a very good team as Gabe misses a three from the corner. Got to start pushing it. We talked about all the time after the Illinois Wesleyan game. They're not going to play a ton of matchups, although we all have February 17th, I believe, circled on the calendar. Once St. Joe's, that wonderful game that was scheduled. But right now, it's just, they're going to play some poor competition. And they have to lock them down. They have to get some 30-point wins even to be in the consideration of what's going on. And the Macs need help. So inbounding from the outside. Looks like off a pick play, a nice little cut to the basket. Way too easy, though. Way too easy, especially when you have the size advantage. And now the Macs only up by 7, 24-17. This is where they seem to get hot. Again, end of halves. At least into the first half, they close it. Peteshin now. We'd like to see him get going. Again, a lot of space being given from the Macs. From Maritime. Corner 3, Petesh worked his way to the corner. That is what we like to see. Drains the 3. You got Petesh, Leifer, Terrell, Eitan, and Ofek making up the 5 right now. Like to see a little bit closer defense. Again, this is, not the small ball lineup. But without Matan or Jordan, you'd like to see them pressure the ball a little bit more. It's still a lot of open shots Maritime can't hit, but a lot of open shots being given up, uncontested. Gabe runs in wide open, and you've got, it looks like Batesh again from the corner. This is what we like to see. This is what we're looking for. Looking for Batesh to get himself some minutes, find those open threes as the coverage doubles. This is absolutely awesome to see and fun. Let's see, Max fans, we've been waiting for this. Let's see some extra support from these guys. Again, want to see it when Lasco's in too. Again, if we can get some aerial support from Batesh, get Lasco to start hitting some outside shots. Even others off the bench. Again, D can pull the trigger sometimes. Don't want to see it too much. Keep it with the high percentage shooters, but still, open shots. That's when it gets Terrell, Leifer, and others a little bit more freedom in the paint, a little bit more freedom to work around. Thanks everyone for being with us. I know we have it looks like a handful of people on the stream now, or 3 handfuls as the computer tells me. But like I said, if you didn't hear now, we'd love to. This wasn't supposed to be a play-by-play. Not trained for that, as the Max Live folks will tell me. Not as prepared as those folks get as they delve into the game. So if anybody wants to come on the broadcast, please feel free to put your either info in the chat or find some way to get it to us. I'll send you the link to jump on, and we can start talking to ask some Mac questions. To see my good friend Ailey Burnett asked me if Batesh is back this year. I do believe he is not a senior, and he will be back this year. We're getting also eligibility. We got a bucket here coming. That's Donovan again. Can't leave him open. Free pass to the basket once he gets by Terrell. And Maritime is now back to down 11. Lasco with the ball, looking around. Again, open shot for Lasco. Would love to see that drop. I know he's pushing hard with that knee. Still not 100% back, as Coach Schwartz told us. Working really hard to get back. Want this game to get out of hand so we can start talking about NFL playoffs and other fun stuff, things that are coming later in the Max schedule. Gray up top, working the ball around. Contested 3 from the outside. Again, not Maritime's game. They're going to succeed more, I think, when they keep going inside or driving and kicking. Not a good spot-up shooting team. Gabe wide open from the foul line, doesn't take it, and gives the ball up. You got to start shooting some of those free throw shots. Foul line jumper for Gabe should be muddy. Working the ball around. Still 30-19. Time running out and a half. Reverse layup. That's Donovan again. Again, the only guy putting up some points. He's currently up to 12 now. The leading scorer in the game, Ryan Donovan. And the Max don't look to be trying to get Terrell going. And maybe that's the plan coming in, knowing what the opponent is. But now you see a little bit of it. Terrell with the missed shot, gets his own rebound, recovers, scores, 3-point play. Upcoming for the Max. It looked like it went through. Let's see if it counts. It does indeed. Now Ryan's going to shoot 1. So that's 4 for Terrell. If he hits this, he'll be 2 away. From the record, from the camera angle, I can't tell whether he actually hit it or not. But I think he did, obviously, with not running up the game. So 33-21, it should be the score. Ryan, 2 points away from becoming the second all-time leading scorer in Max history, passing his teammate, his previous teammate, Simcha Halpert. Gray again from the outside. Again, not sure why Maritime shoots so many threes. I understand that's big in the game, but they do not hit them. I mean, they are one of the poorest shooting teams in the country. Not sure they should be focused. Batesh again drains a 3, and that's 3 for Oren Batesh, that is amazing to see. Again, we've been waiting for this for a while. And on the offense, again, Batesh is never going to create his own shot. He's always going to get it off the motion offense. And just finding him open. He's 3 for 4, I believe. I think he missed one. We're going to check the stats at halftime. That looks like a charge. It is. Great position. Great position by Lasko. Again, without even looking, I knew it was Lasko, because if it's a hustle play like a charge, it's definitely going to be Lasko. All the energy. That guy brings so much to the game on defense. Changing the Max team. Can't wait till his energy to start rubbing off. It was great to see even in the IW game, one of the only players really pushing hard, really at the intensity level it needs to be at. Lasko brings up the ball. YU up 36-21, now down to the 2-minute mark. Terrell on the outside. Tough shot, and he drains it, and with that shot, he scores his 7th point and becomes the 2nd all-time leading scorer in YU history. So again, 26 points away from taking the lead. He gets 25 points away from tying Yossi Gev. Way off from the corner, hit the top of the basket. YU looks to push up 38-21. Gabe inside. A little bully ball. Jump ball. Back to Yeshiva. Gabe at a 2-on-1. Double covered there. Good opportunity to dish. Going to a timeout here. Max up 38-21. And really starting to get some separation. We saw this in the game the other night. The score there was more like 37-16, so the defense was a little stronger. Here, a lot of wide open shots. A lot of open shots from Maritime. So the Max defense, I don't think. Again, we saw a block party from Jordan, who again is not playing as much. He's only played 8 minutes so far in this first half. We saw a block party the other night. Right now, again, no blocks. A few steals, all by Gabe in the stat count. So not a lot of shutdown defense against Maritime. Again, not a great offense to worry about in the first place, as they are shooting so far in the first half 41%. But like I said, terrible three-point shooting team. 2 for 10 right now is why he was 5 for 10 and shooting 50% overall. Coming down to the last minute, 1:18 left. They're going to call it offensive on Ryan there. They're going to say he was established. Looks like Ryan Donovan was playing D against him. Let's say he was established. And that's going to be the first on Ryan. We got to go in here. Again, I don't think this game will ever come back to be in jeopardy. Again, surprise me if it will. Unless I don't have any responsibilities other than being a homer as I am. But I don't think this game is ever going to be in jeopardy. Again, Gray can put the ball down, but really, this is the Skyline Conference. The Max should dominate, and this is the worst team statistically in the Skyline Conference, both record-wise and otherwise. So this should get ugly pretty fast. Right now, we're still sitting on a 17-point lead as we get down to about 40 seconds or so. Start pushing into the corner. Batesh wide open. Oh, that would have been a great end to a half. If Batesh could have drilled his 4th three. But it just goes out. And again, still 38-21 as we get down to it now. Although I can't see and verify, it looks like about 35 seconds or so, I would estimate, left in the game. As we come up to halftime, I'll repeat it. If you want to jump on, talk Max basketball, talk anything, please come on. It's lonely here. Sitting in Teaneck, New Jersey, watching the game, which I'd be doing anyways, but talking to you folks out there. Gray holding the ball again. Looks like they're going to hold for last shot. Another missed three. It's really an epidemic at this point in time. Losing the ball right before the half. And we've got halftime here with the Max up 38-21. Again, 17-point lead, pretty strong. But you'd like to see the Max be able to push this a lot further than they currently have against this Maritime team, which is really, really struggling to find any offense. Although they did put up more points than, I believe Mount St. Mary's did in the previous game. So you never know what's going to happen in the second half. It's good to start seeing Batesh. Ryan makes his way into second place of all time in this half with 7 points, just passing Simcha. Now 1 point ahead into second place and 25 points away from tying Yossi for number one all time. Don't think that will happen this game from what we've seen. I don't think there'll be a need for it, but it does set him up well if he can throw down another 7-8 points in this half to pass it on Tuesday night at home when you have the Max back in the MSAC to take on the Merchant Marines, a longtime rival. So here we go, halftime, counting down, about 13 and a half minutes left. Again, I'll stick around. Would love some quality time with any of you out there. Happy to talk. Please DM us. If you want to, you can DM me at Nate's Riffs, NATESRIFFS. I'll put it in the simulcast chat, and we can definitely enjoy this. To enjoy a conversation. Drop it in the chat right now. I appreciate guys spending anyone spending their Sunday with us. This last Sunday of Yeshiva Week, school starting back up tomorrow. Last Sunday of Yeshiva Week, beautiful time to do. People hopefully flying back if their flights were canceled. We had a big snowstorm here in the Northeast. Depending on where you were, anywhere from a few inches to a foot plus. So really great to start up again. The Max game was postponed because of that snowstorm from Saturday night to today's game on Sunday. Let's talk about rankings. Let's talk about anything if you want to come on. Otherwise, we'll see it. Had some fun watching, because the Max were off. Had some fun watching Illinois Wesleyan last night. Although they got, the second team for many of our fans now after the amazing experience of the late December game at the Max Stern. IWU, Illinois Wesleyan dropped a home game to Concordia. Again, not a terrible team, but definitely a big loss. If there were odds, they would probably be favored by double digits. So again, a heavy loss. Same with Watch U that dropped a game Friday night, I believe, to Carnegie Mellon. So we're going to have some movement in the rankings. We can talk about what that does for Yeshiva's rankings. Again, Yeshiva at number 7 right now in the polls. If you're a voter, right, and love to hear from you guys. If you're a voter, Illinois Wesleyan has lost 2 games this week. Again, won a big battle within the conference, but the Concordia game, a non-conference home game. So they lost a road game in the conference again, which every game is a battle in that conference. But now losing a home game, where should they drop? And if you drop Illinois Wesleyan, do you believe you have to drop Yeshiva too? Or can Yeshiva be ranked higher than Illinois Wesleyan? Be great to hear the perspective on that. We'll definitely be hearing some of that on Hoopsville tomorrow. I'm sure they'll be talking about. They like to throw Yeshiva in wherever they can. It's great to see, and also sometimes a little unnerving because Yeshiva doesn't belong in most conversations. We could talk Hope Women. Hope Women 61 games in a row until their streak was snapped by Trine last week. That was an amazing game. I watched the most of the second half in a really unreal game. unreal quality of women's basketball. It was fantastic. So, and by the way, Hope Gym, that gym rivals, I don't know, half the professional gyms in the country. So, an unreal experience. So as we get set for the second half here, about 8 minutes and counting, let me know. I got it clued in that Wash U may lose again. Let's track that on D3 Hoops and see what's going on, or even on Washing U. So, let us know what's going on in the Wash U game. Love when we get the updates going on. Love that everyone's paying attention to D3 Hoops. Probably won't affect, obviously, the regional rankings and where YU ends up playing, in the tournament and sort of how they're ranked. But it is great to see from just a ranking standpoint. Again, Case Western. Oh, wow. So Case Western is up. It's basically going to the end of the game here with Case Western up by 4. 7 seconds left is what it looks like. But Case Western isn't as bad as the loss to Carnegie Mellon. I mean, Case Western, I think just as recently as a week or two ago, was in the top 25 and probably even received some votes. So obviously after this win, you're going to see them not just in the top 25, but maybe getting as high as in the top 20. So again, it's a road loss, to a team. I'm not sure if they're in the same conference or not, but it's a road loss to a quality team. So this WashU loss may not be as impactful as the one previously. Okay, we're getting ready for the second half of coverage. Like I said, if you ever want to do play-by-play, if you ever wanted to come do color, if you want to come talk, please hit me up and get you on the broadcast. This is just an experiment for us. We appreciate just having fun on a Sunday. Wow, this is impressive to see potentially Wash U and Illinois Wesleyan, the number 2 and number 4 ranked teams in the country in D3 coming in. It's unreal to see 2 losses, in the same week for these guys. It's not something you typically see as they're going through. Wow, Emory put up a 104 on NYU. Emory's been streaking as of late. You're going to start seeing them rise in the rankings as well in the top 25. All right, we're coming on the second half. Here it looks like 1 minute 50 seconds left. We'll start. I repeat again, if you want to come on, please feel free to throw your email or WhatsApp or any way we can reach you in the chat. Send you a link. You can jump on the broadcast. We can talk a little bit, go back and forth, get away from this play-by-play, which hopefully will start to get out of hand anyways as we start to look for even more filler as YU will take what I hope will be a 30-point lead by the 10-minute mark of this second half. A couple other games going on in the country right now. Of note, St. Joe's, YU's only big opponent left for the rest of this regular season, is playing tonight at 7 o'clock. That could be a good game just to watch and scout. They're playing at Regis, so a conference game, I believe. All right, Max coming out, starting to shoot, starting to prep for the second half. Hopefully we will see some of the other guys. Doesn't look like not sure if there was any trouble in travel. Only see nine or so max out there. As they get ready for second half, maybe a couple on the bench, but wondering where, what kind of squad they're traveling with. Are they traveling 15 deep today? All right, let's get prepped for the second half. And Case Western, appreciate it, Andrew. Case Western has completed the upset. Again, this is a conference game. Case Western is in the UAAA. And so Case Western, coming into the game basically with matching records here, again, home game for Case Western. This is not, I would consider it a major upset, but definitely the Case Western team has got to be ecstatic with their performance. So WashU goes down twice within 3 days. Illinois Wesleyan goes down twice within 5 days. And now you're going to start to see a lot of movement within the pool. So the rankings that come out tomorrow, we'll see. We'll see how that affects. We'll see what that does for Yeshiva. I'm not sure if it will impact Yeshiva. Again, still expect to see them overall at the 7-8 mark, maybe the lowest. But the question is, and I'd love to talk about this with you guys, is YU a top 10 team? From what you've seen, do you believe YU is a top 10 team? If you're watching some of these other teams, some of the battles that are happening in the WIAC, the CCIW, and some of these other now in the UAA, do you believe YU is a top 10 team going into this? Or you start to put some of these other teams up at the front? I think that's what we're going to see from the voters. None of it matters, as Elliot likes to say. The only thing that matters is where they're ranked in March, but ultimately it's fun to get into it and understand what kind of competition they're going to be up against. We don't typically see that. That's sort of all new as we're starting to become national. And again, the national coverage obviously has died down since the streak has ended. Or I say the streak went from 50 to 1. But that national coverage has died down, but D3 Hoops fans are still looking at Yeshiva as a contender and as a major challenge and a major out in the tournament that's coming up at the end of next month. So it'll be fun to start seeing this. Again, we're not so far away from conference playoffs here. Appreciate fans who believe Yeshiva is still number one. It's great to see. It's great to have the attitude. For all intents and purposes, it really looks like Randolph-Macon. And maybe this is what it was 2 years ago, right before they got the chance to play against each other in the tournament, as they were supposed to in the round of 16. Randolph-Macon is still the cream of the crop, and you see that time and time again. I mean, if anybody's gotten to watch them, it's great basketball. It's awesome to watch. So, encourage everybody to watch as much of the D3 Hoops as they can. Really assess where YU is in their growth, because yes, this season is a tournament or bust. Win the tournament, really get to that Final Four. That's where they feel like they belong. But going forward, trying to make YU a perennial tournament team, right? Perennial Skyline Conference winner, or to have a better schedule where perhaps someday they won't need to win the Skyline Conference. But we'll see how that all plays out. So for those just joining, we got about 20 folks now. For those just joining as we're watching, let's feel free to jump on. Again, you can DM me. I left it in the comments here on Twitter. You can send a WhatsApp. You can figure out how to get in touch with us, and I'll happy to have somebody on join me here for the second half broadcast, just to talk Max basketball or whatever is on your minds. And since we're all in a legal gambling state, or at least I am right now, I guess these guys aren't, we can start talking about what we think the spread's going to be. So 38-21, 17. I'm expecting the Max to win at least by 35. So I'm going to go out and put a 17.5 point spread on this second half, even though we know we're going to get some garbage time, which has not been pretty for the plus minus when the Max start playing people outside the top 8, top 9. But let's see how it goes. Second half getting underway right now as Maritime looks to inbound. Both teams again in the second half playing and shooting next to their bench. Gray being guarded by Terrell, which is interesting. Again, 5'6" and 6'7". We'll see how that plays out. And if Terrell can keep up with the speed. Gray gets to the basket, misses the shot. Donovan on the outside as the clock now starts to tick down. Corner 3 is good. It's good. We'll have to look and see who that was hit by. Sean Flynn actually out there. So Sean Flynn, they're 6'7". Big. Hitting a 3 from the outside. That is a very rare occurrence here. Oh, wide open. Jordan's wide open underneath. Flynn comes back over, but Jordan already got way too deep positioning. Listen, we need more of that. More of Jordan. Again, I'd like to see him even be more aggressive there. Not shoot a one-hander fading away, but go up strong, 2 hands, put it at the basket. I think that would add such a change in what teams can expect. All right, now you see him switch it up. Ryan switched off Gray. Probably a good idea with the speed. I think he's taking Regan out in the corner as they start to play one-on-one. You got Flynn in. And now we got a foul on Jordan, it looks like, on Sean Flynn. No, that's not Flynn. That looks like McNally. 31. Sorry about that. Sean Flynn is 6'7", but 205. So not as, or at least that's what he's listed as. So tall, but not as wide. Start to push it. He hits 1 of 2, and we're at 40-25. Like we said, starting to push it. Want to see it get to 30 by the 10-minute mark. The Max got to start moving a little faster. You got Terrell in a cut. They go around. Lasko actually starting the second half for OFEC. I wonder if there's something there to think about. Missed the layup. Seemed like he had something there and threw it away. So I wonder where OFEC is. Here, if anyone has any inside info, please let us know. But again, no OFEC to start the second half. Lasko instead. Wonder if it's an experiment of any kind. You could tell it's a Halpert foul because he's complaining to the refs. Pretty natural occurrence anytime he's whistled. I'm not sure he's ever committed a foul that he believes he committed in his entire playing career. So great to see that still intact. He's going over and having a conversation with the ref while the free throws are being shot. It's 1 of 2, so that's, again, 1 of 2 out there, 40-26. 8 to the standing, still waiting for a pick. Looks like he's going to the corner. You got Ryan on the back door. Again, holding the ball. Offense now looking a little bit confused. But you got Gabe open up top. Love to see him shoot that foul line jumper as opposed to dishing it out. Armstrong. Halpert in the corner. No good. Looks like a lot of offensive opportunities wasted. To be honest, again, like to see Gabe shoot that foul line jumper. He has space. Just take it. All right. Always kicking it around for 3. Jordan under the basket. Didn't want to put it up. again, put them in foul trouble. This is not a great team. Ryan Donovan misses the three. Gabe brings it back up. Lasco, we got a back door and one. No, missed on the layup, but a foul called. Good look from Lasco to Ryan, who has a lot of size advantage on his defender. So Ryan will go to the line to shoot two. Gabe and Ethan having a conversation, maybe about the offense. There's a rare miss from Ryan on the free throw line. We haven't seen a lot, actually, of Ethan and Eitan playing together this season, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Ryan hits 1 of 2. Seems to be what everybody's hitting this game. 1 of 2, and it's a 15-point lead. Again, not really stretching it out the way you'd like to see. Maritime staying in the game. I don't think the result is in jeopardy, but it's ugly. And now there's a lot of fouls called every possession on this end. This time we have an offensive foul call on the drive. Good take. I like to see those 50-50 plays from the YU team that usually doesn't take them. So set it up, 15-point lead, about 15 left in the half in the game. We got Lasco driving. Can't finish the layup. Donovan comes out of it with it. He gets a foul on the corner. Alpert tried to take the charge. He went right around. He got a foul on the layup. So again, more fouls and activity as Donovan. Maybe it's a Skyline thing with no players on the free throws. But Donovan's going to shoot those free throws. So tell me, is this a Max team that looks like a top 10 team? I think that's what we keep wondering here as Donovan hits 1 of 2. I mean, this game should be long gone. And yet it's still, within striking distance. Fortunately, Maritime can't shoot threes, or else this would be even closer. But 14-point lead. Again, not a great pass. The quarter from Halpert, and another bad pass. So sloppy play that we're seeing across the board. Layup by Gray. And now we're in a 12-point game. So this is not the best Max basketball. Halpert's going to try to play through it. Elliott puts Matana at the scorer's table, so he'll come in on the next whistle. If we had to guess, probably for Jordan, as Terrell hits 2 and is up to, I believe, 10 for the game. I may get a guest here to come join. We'll see as we come on in. Again, it is not a pretty game so far. 43-29, back up to a 14-point lead. Good defense up top. I got a block and a 3-point attempt. And a foul down low. We have a lot of fouls so far. I wonder where we're at. I'm going to go to the scoreboard for a second, but we have a lot of fouls happening in this second half. It's like at least 4 or 5, so there may be a lot of free throws coming towards the end of this half. We may be putting more free throws going on. YU with the 43-29 lead. As we run through, we got a timeout here. A full timeout called by Maritime. And this game is getting pretty sloppy. This is not a very crisp game. Again, Saturday night game moved to Sunday. Not sure what that does to the expectations. I'm sure many of these guys came on. And who do we have here?
Yo! Oh my God, you've been crushing it now, Don.
It's lonely at the top here.
Oh my God!
It's great to throw it on. It's great to start talking because I listen. I'm talking to myself. I invited the fans on. Nobody wants to come on yet. Like to see. We got some good comments out there. We got some favorite. Josh just commented that he likes the Batesh lineup. We've seen a good Batesh 3 for 5, I believe, from 3-point land. See him scored some, dropped some points. 9 points so far. It's been pretty, but they are letting this Maritime team out. Like I said, I don't think the win is in doubt here, but we're past this, right? We don't care about Skyline Conference opponents, especially the bottom of the Skyline Conference.
I mean, listen,
we want to see the Max as a top 10 team, and that's not what we're seeing yet today.
Yeah, I think, look, what we need to see with these Skyline Conference games the rest of the way is just straight up intensity. I think, we don't need to... None of this really matters from a rankings perspective, a voting perspective, as the free goes out. But we need to see here the kind of locked-in nature that was missing in biggest game of the season, and that was missing for a great part of the first half of the season. And at least on the defensive end today, it's been there. The offense has still looked a little clunky.
You know what? I from watching this whole game, I'm not even sure if it's there on the defensive end. As Matan, who's been, by the way, a beast as usual on the boards, love to see more, Matan and Jordan play in that style in these games where they have such a size advantage. Matan, I believe, has 8 now, most of them on putbacks and offensive rebounds and fouls. But there's a lot of open shots. So, you're going to see here probably more open shots, another open 3, and they just can't hit them. They're just this team shoots under 30% from 3 on the season, and they're way in that range below the Mendoza line already this game. They were 2 for 10 or 2 for 11 in the first half. I believe they've only hit 1 coming out. So nice move by Lasco. It's good to see him get into the paint. I'd like to see him hit more 3s. So the lead is now extended to 18. So they're going to get there. They're going to win by 30, 25, whatever it might be, but... Yeah.
You want to see them get close to that century mark, kind of like they did in the last game versus Mary. But
I'd like to see them be more aggressive. Again, you got 55, Jalen Gray, who's a great ball handler, but everybody else, they really this has happened a couple times now, and again, a third charge. So that's what we'd like to see. Lasco's taken, obviously, 2 of them, because when it's a charge, you expect it to be Lasco.
Unsurprising.
Yeah, that's expected to happen, right? But that's the second that we've seen that a couple times, even this half, where Terrell over pursues to the 3-point line and the guy just goes right around. One time Ryan Donovan got an easy layup out of it. So, again, we'd like to see a little bit more disciplined team defense going on here, but maybe you set him up for the charge. Who knows?
As the 3 goes down. But listen, one thing I've noticed is
beautiful 3 by Batesh. Just so you know, our Zoom broadcast is probably a couple seconds ahead of the Simulcast broadcast. So as you're jumping on now, this is I have to learn. I got a second monitor set up. I got different broadcasts going.
No spoilers. I love
the stats pouring in. That's 4 for Batesh. Joshy Star put the comments on the YouTube. He's right. Maybe the Batesh lineup is what we got to start seeing here.
Shouts to Joshy. I think one thing that I want to see out of our big guys is, someone like Jordan, I think I've noticed his game, I think you maybe even called it out earlier, is you're seeing a lot of, even when Jordan gets great position in the post, you're seeing a lot of, hook shots, fadeaways, one-handers, reverses. I want to see him kind of put it in the block, put it in the post with authority.
Or don't beat me listen, the team is designed right around, passing around, that's part of what they do. But if you get the ball and you're within 10 feet of the basket, against this team specifically, against last team, against some of the teams you're going to see in Skyline, because what's going to happen is you're going to see in the tournament, the teams play right in key, just like Lambesis keyed on Terrell, just like they didn't want Gabe to catch the ball at the high post, right? You're going to start seeing this, right? You're going to see blueprints, right? These teams there's nothing they can do. They don't have the players to make a dent. But when they play the tough teams, even at St. Joe's, you're going to start to see exactly what we saw in December. So this is the time and I love to see it. I love seeing it out of Matan, who feels comfortable in that one-on-one block situation. But other players got to get comfortable with taking their second best shot, their third best shot, because they're going to get those first best shots taken away by these better teams. So Gabe, 10 feet out to the foul line. If you're wide open, take that shot, right? It'll open up. And by the way, if you hit those, it'll open up the passing lanes more than almost any other thing will do.
I mean, that's another thing that you see out of this game, which is you see people taking their time, which is good. But what we heard, when we did the show with Coach Joe, I think there's an emphasis on we want to see, 6 or 7 passes or 4 or 5 passes instead of 2 or 3 passes. I think, you're seeing a little bit of an overcorrection in this game with some guys, just taking a little bit more time. Although in an action like you just see now, you see
this is beautiful 3 by Gabe.
Right,
but again, off of those 5-6 passes, drawing the defense in, being able to put in, and I think to some respect, maybe this is even though Matan's on the floor, I don't think he touched it out there, right? So, it wasn't about passing to a big man on the 3-point line who nobody believes will ever shoot the ball. But it's nice to see Gabe, the offense today. He started out really hot with a 3 and a couple shots and a dunk on a break. I just want to see, again, this is the big thing on the bigs, right? We talk about this all the time. And what I'm hoping to see on the bigs, we never see big rebound numbers. It's good to see today Gabe has 11 boards, right? Like where is everyone else? On a team that's missing like 30 shots, 40 shots. There are a lot of rebounds to get.
Yeah.
Even on whoa, sweet move. I don't know where the contact was. It missed the foul there, but nice move by Lasco.
And even on a sequence like that, you saw Matan rotate out to the 3-point line. You saw them leave him alone. People were scattered Matan. But when Matan gets the ball out there, he dribble penetration there and gets a great pass.
Go to the play, right? Go to where you're going to be dangerous. Draw the. It's all about just making the defense do different things. I don't think we'll see it this game. One of the things I liked watching in last night's IW game, and we sort of scattered this before, it was funny. At the end, about 5 minutes left when they were down to Concordia, they came out into the zone, and the announcers were like, what is this? They never play zone. So, the idea of, you don't even have to play it consistently. But if you just come out, and then later in a timeout, right, now you make them, you make them to think, hey, what are these guys going to do? Beautiful backdoor. Wow.
Beautiful.
That is the motion at its best. Terrell sets a high screen. Matan goes behind. Again, no one's expecting Matan to be the receiver. That's beautiful. The one thing we talked about here, I don't know if you heard this before we jumped on, but Ari, we're looking for some inside intel. So no OFEC to start the second half. No OFEC in the game. So
yeah, I noticed that.
There wasn't really a play where there was an injury, but Ethan started the second half ahead of him, which is, again, they have the players, and it doesn't matter in this game.
Well, I noticed it, Nathan, because one of the best things I saw about the YU Max on Twitter is that they're the best hair team in Division III, which is not what you'd expect for the Jewish team. But as soon as I saw one fewer floppy Max hat than I'm used to seeing.
It is. By the way, it's really important. I think when people don't realize that during the winter time when it gets cold, right? So extra hair. We'll keep you warm during those walks to, everyone who went to YU knows the winds of Belfort are not kind. They're not kind to you.
The Shaple Killer.
It's done. That's what it's known as. It's that tunnel there. So again, floppy hair, some big hair will help you, navigate the semester. So, and big snowstorm here. I know we're nearby. Have you dug out? You got out of your.
I feel like I was just in the gym lifting weights for 10 hours because I shoveled snow for 20 minutes,
It is a lot. I finally got to the point, thank God, where I have a teenager who will help me. So last night it was fantastic.
That's why I have kids.
Instead of an hour and a half, it took 45 minutes, but it was a lot of shoveling, and now I'm done for the year. I don't have to exercise anymore. I'm good.
That's it. You've been Yotze. Unbelievable.
I'm out. Shoulder injuries, whatever it might be.
So now you see they have a D out on the floor. Do you know of an injury to OFEC or? So
that's what again we haven't seen anything. There was nothing that took place, at least that we could see in the first half. That would say that again. I don't think it's a I don't think it's any disciplinary. I don't think there's anything going on. It may just be, again, precautionary, more like it, right? A tweak or something there. Good see and good rebound by Jordan.
And this sequence is I think, a good indicator of some adjustments that the Macs have made after the midseason, which is what we saw earlier in the first half of the year was a lot of those small guards can really get dribble penetration in that first half against the Macs interior defense, even much smaller guys. And in the IWU game, one of the underrated parts of Pete Lambesis' game, because everyone was taking a look at, everyone was giving him credit for the job that he did on Ryan, but an underrated part of his game was that dribble penetration that he can get, that Luke Yoder can get against us. And one thing that I've seen, obviously against much weaker competition in the second half of the season, is you see much more of a tightening of the screws in the paint. You see Jordan being much more aggressive, jumping out on first of all, jumping out on doubling guys at the top of the key, but also being much more aggressive, rotating over with the help.
The help D, absolutely. Help defense, and not just that. What we saw last game, if we're not seeing as much this game, maybe because again a little quicker guard, but not just helping, but also smart contact. Right, he had a number of blocks and not getting himself in foul trouble by coming down, but really just going straight up, using that big body and using that wingspan to be able to change shots, which is what they need. I mean, they need. He
almost had a double with blocks against Mount Baker.
He had one of his best games of the season, I think, all around. I think there are some guys you're looking out for to say, listen, like you mentioned, that D's in the game now. This is a 27-point game, right? We're not worried about the outcome of the game right now, right? Worried about the execution. It's interesting. We saw YU press last game too. This may be something that they're working on, right? We're getting into a press here.
One thing I wondered last game was you saw the press, but sometimes last game it seemed a little bit more ad hoc, which, by the way, I was happy to see, but you'd see kind of Ryan or Ethan being really aggressive off of the inbound. And I kind of thought maybe they're just deciding to do it themselves because they're so amped up, which honestly I'd be happy to see. But seeing it this game,
call your own number. Go for it.
Yeah. Seeing more guys get into it, I wonder if that's something they've started to implement a little bit more from a coaching perspective. I wonder.
It's definitely intentional. It definitely is something that they're calling for. And like I said, I think it's just a question of, and I don't think they're doing it necessarily right.
Nice feed by Jordan.
Nice feed. They call the offensive foul, even though he's inside the circle. So that is an interesting call. Inside this, that's rough. You typically don't see charges that close to the basket. I think what they're saying is he dipped that shoulder and went low, right? So shoulder to chest contact initiated totally by the offense, which doesn't require that. And the question on the press here, right, is just, are they pressing, right? There are two types of pressing. Oh, nice steal to come back.
Nice steal by a D. Does that go out of bounds?
Oh, they called a charge on the other side of the basket with Matan taking it before as the steal was happening. So the question is whether this press, and I think it looks like more an aggressive press, right? You either press to steal or you press to make the team uncomfortable, right? Start the offense with less time on the clock, right? Sort of hassle them to get into their offense. This looks like they're pressing hard to try to get a steal, try to, and again, it's, they're getting that. The competition is going to be a factor, but they're getting that so far. We've seen 2 turnovers out of the press in the last 2 possessions.
See, this is an example of where Jordan is on a just much smaller guy. You want to see him backing down into the place of authority. I know they're not sort of like a...
And they're looking for him. I mean, that's a pass from a D, right? That's a nice inside-out game. They didn't feed it, but he's feeding him down there, right? And he just kicks it back out. Now, a D took an open shot. Great. He's definitely, he's, when it comes to 3-point shooting, he's probably 3rd on the court right now.
Jordan.
Amazing. The defense, like I said, defense has been there. It's interesting to see Ryan still out on the court.
Lovely turnout. Ryan uses the glass better than anyone I've seen.
I mean, he just knows where he is. He squares his body so well. There are a couple guys who do this well in jump shooting. Actually, last night's game, IW had some good plays in that regard. But wow.
Look at this.
That's going to be a foul.
And getting the call.
And he's there, and that's what you see. You see that too much. I mean, he actually has him, right? And now he's made him go back. There's 20 seconds on the clock, whatever it might be. why are you fouling in 38 feet, 40 feet, right? You don't even need to be close to fouling. If he gets by you, there's 15 feet to the next man. So you got them where you want to. Why are you picking up at 40, 50 feet with no help? And he's got to just be a little smarter. He can be really one of their best defenders, and then sometimes he can just rack up fouls.
I mean, what do you think?
Pretty quickly.
What do you think? Peak Adi seems to me a 3-and-D guy.
And there's another one.
Another, but
so the three,
3-and-D, smart defense, hitting threes. I think we've seen glimpses of that version of Adi this season, but other times
we haven't seen the three. So that's the thing is that we've talked about this, right? I mean, like if you combine Patesh and Adi, right, you get 3-and-D. Right, exactly. You get Adi's D and you get Patesh's 3, and that's where you get it. Neither of them right now is a completely package as we're seeing sort of Patesh right now out there, which is great to see him getting those minutes. His 3 hit out in the corner. Yeah, by Ryan Donovan again.
This goes to Joshy Starr's point in the chat, my man Joshy, where, you want that kind of small ball lineup, but, if you want a Warrior-style lineup, you need both the 3 and the D. And, Adi and Patesh give you kind of half of that. Although, again, nice hands there by Adi, but again, looks like...
That's foul number 4. So in a very... Again, I think that's foul number 4 in a very limited time, because I just don't think he times his plays well. I don't think he reads the refs well. I don't think he understands the kind of games that they're calling, and he's just aggressive all the time. He comes across someone, and I believe that he just picked up, his 4th foul of the game. So, it's tough to see. He's played only 8 minutes. So he's 4 fouls in 8 minutes. You're getting into Natan professional territory numbers.
Here, this is a beautiful Matan penetration. Looks like you got called for either travel or offensive foul.
Travel out there.
But it's exactly the kind of move you want from your big guys, especially when you have such a size advantage like this. I mean, Matan, as you said, is very comfortable putting his shoulder down, really getting his body squared off, creating space with his body, and getting that easy layup right there.
Maybe last year, right, when he came in and coming from starter, right? He's coming from a starter position, and he's coming and playing off the bench. As the travel gets called here, coming playing off the bench. Maybe he was the mentality. That's what he's always had, right? That's why he's even better off the bench, because he's coming in ready to play. I think a guy like Adi coming into the game has to know what his role is, that they're not counting on him for anything other than defense. And the whole when you're coming off the bench, because of the max starters, being as prolific as they are.
What a rebound and what a putback.
See, that's it. Matan just being Matan, doing Matan stuff. I think the max players have to realize that if they just play their role and hold the game right to where it needs to be, that's their role off the bench. Just keep playing it, keep holding the lead, and let guys like the other bench players or the other players that are there score. This has to be. We're going to be shooting for the rest of the game for Maritime on the fouls. There's probably 7 or 8 fouls already in the second half. Maritime playing a little bit better in the second half. Again, 3 for 7 from 3, so much better there. They were 2 for 11 from 3 in the first. 3 for 7 free throws, so 3 for 7 from 3 also. 43%, but really 1 for 7 from anywhere else. This is a rough season for Maritime. And I feel for them. But again, only 6 minutes left. You see Terrell still out there. What do we think about that?
So,
you see him still out there at this point?
So I'll tell you what, early on in the season, I just felt like I didn't get it at all. Why you have starters in, you're risking injury. Great feed from Gabe, great finish from Jordan. And I as the season has gone on and we've seen their problem being not putting together a full 40 minutes, I've kind of started to understand more about why you keep Ryan in, especially here in the second half of the season, where the question is really just, you're not going for wins now. You're really just going for, practicing intensity.
As it looks like he exits the game, we see Max Leibowitz come in. So now we're going to start to see the brigade
The chief rabbi of the Max.
Exactly. I think we're up 30. I hope the Dvar Torah was good. So much to pull from.
Coach,
so much to pull from these days.
This was breaking news on the Ball Habatim. Elliot Steinmetz had revealed.
Whoa! Two-handed
authority.
Slam. There's what we want to see, Jordan. That's how you put it down. Go ahead.
Coach had revealed on the Behind the Bema podcast that every single game, somebody in the locker room gives like a 30 to 60 second bit of chizuk, and we asked on the Ball Habatim Coach Joe Schwartz who gives the best, and we were told with zero hesitation that it was one Max Leibowitz. So shouts to Max Leibowitz. Oh,
I'm trying to feed Jordan maybe a little too much, but they're getting fun with it. 31 point lead. I mean, look, Donovan, Gray, these guys still have their players in. So that's also a part of it, right? When you put your bench in, you don't want them just to get shredded, right? Whether it's for confidence or otherwise.
With a nice behind-the-back move with just missing the finish off the glass.
Game's getting a little out of hand, and now you start to see, I think that's, is that Alone? Alone coming in for Jordan?
The human victory cigar.
He's there.
Now it's happening. So
now we have.
So what's your call? Yeah, who do we have
out there?
Now?
So all starters are out except for Gabe is still out there, and again Ethan. Oh, Ethan's now coming out. It looks like I believe that's Gav Landau. So it looks just like Gabe is the only one sort of anchoring that D from the starting standpoint. But go ahead.
What do you think about leaving guys in for a length of time? Guys like Terrell.
I think it's important that they play with the other lineups. I think once you start to, I think that's what's happening, right? Once you start to empty the bench, that's when he comes out, because then he's not playing with anyone that he's ever going to play with.
Right, in real minutes.
In sort of the real minutes and competition in the game. So I think as long as he's still playing with bench players, it's okay. I'm not as worried about injury as much as I think the one thing you have to start looking to, not necessarily today, but now as we get into next week, we talked about this. That is a brutal stretch of games, not in terms of who they're playing against, but in terms of the amount of games. They're playing a stretch of 7-8 games in 2 weeks. So I think you just also got to look for fatigue and just make sure you're
especially as you're heading to the tournament.
You're controlling the minutes.
We're on the doorstep of March, so especially as you head into the tournament, that's fatigue.
But this was not low with authority. That's Gabe, I believe, with authority on the block. There you go, low down low.
With a lovely pass that they can't finish, but
again, he sees the pass, sees the player, but again, passing while fading away is not necessarily the best thing to do. Again, this game is in hand. I think we're talking about, like, the question is what happens from the stretch, how you play minutes, how you divvy those things up. And this game didn't start with a Ryan. This was not a Ryan game, right? I think he's going to finish the game with 10 points, maybe a little bit more, maybe 12. They weren't looking for him at the beginning of the game. They weren't looking for him at any point in the game. They knew they could win this game without pushing him. It's nice to see. So we got Ryan Boker in now. We got Gav. We got Max. Is that Aryeh?
With
a three. You know what? Halpert has been looking to score and been scoring well when he comes into the game.
As we're looking forward to some of the upcoming games in the schedule. So we have, if I'm not mistaken, entirely Skyline games left the rest of the way, with the exception of St. Joe's.
Correct.
So what are you looking for, Natan, from the upcoming Skyline games, and what are you looking for in preparation for St. Joe's?
So from the Skyline games, I'm looking for more of this second half to happen in the first half as well, right? Where you start to push it a little bit. They started to get control. Now they're up 32. So, they've won this half by a good amount, finishing 17 up. They're up 15. Again, we put the spread sometime around 17 and a half here. They really have to start playing whole games, or at least whole chunks of games when the starters are in. They're really playing inferior competition. They have to figure out how to do it. Again, what happens in these minutes doesn't really matter. As you see, a three drained. You're gonna see that again. Not even bad defense, good shooting. Maybe some of these guys should go in for Maritime in the beginning of the game. But either way, I just, you want to see defensive intensity. You want to see some of these things come up. You want to see, as we talked about, great game. Like, really, let's take away some real positives from even this game. Even though the score is not going to end up where you would hope it end up, as Boker gets open, but can't finish on the layup. Oren's 4 threes, right? So if Patesh is going to play the minutes, right? If Patesh is going to play the minutes, it's great to see him hit 4 threes. That's what we need, right? We need another threat, right? And if Patesh can be that threat, that's great.
Were you know what? Actually, on Patesh, were you surprised that Patesh didn't get into the game against Illinois Wesleyan?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. Maybe again, these are big guards, right? Even No and Yoder and those guys.
Right. Patesh, if I'm
over 6 feet,
5'11", right?
Right. So again, it'd be interesting to see. And again, defense, we know we call that is not his calling card. But at some point,
6 feet, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. But at some point, especially in that first half, you were looking for something. Again, a little too much passing again from the Max. Yeah, Boker has a layup, and he gives it to Alone on the other side of the basket. So what you like to see is a lot of these finishes. Again, like I said, not going to be turning time lineups, but you'd like to see a little bit better finishes at the basket here. But again, Patesh, strong game. Adi really has to, like, we as much as we can talk about it, we need every single one of these, let's call it 9 players in the lineup, right? From the starting 5, to Lasco, Matan, Adi, and then Patesh, if he can continue to work his way into the lineup, you need all those 9 players. You need to give starters minutes and to spell them at certain points, but they have certain talents they can throw in. And so Adi, 4 fouls in 8 minutes is not what you're looking for.
Adi is a defensive version for me of like Dion Waiters, where it's sort of like he's going for that, home run defensive play, and 50% of the time he's going to pull it off and it's going to be awesome. And he's one of those classic, like, no, yes guys. And I can't help but love Adi for that reason. But you definitely want to see in a game like this, fewer fouls in a longer stretch of time.
I agree with you. I think if he just focuses on what he actually can do defensively and does it within the system, as opposed to trying to make a hero play, that's when he's at his best. When he's just really put him on their best ball handler and have him make that guy's life difficult, right? As opposed to go out there and get me a steal. Again, you start to see him over pursue. You start to see him, the footwork sometimes gets into question. A lot of reach-in activity. So I know we're out of the final here, 70-42. The next Max game Tuesday night with fans at home. And right now, if we look at the stats, I think I said Terrell had 12. He did have 12. So if you're counting at home, 12 points. He was 33 out from taking the lead. So again, he needs 20 to tie Yossi Gev, 21 to go into the all-time lead, which, barring any injury, he should get.
At home in front of fans, as it should be.
It'll be great to get home in front of fans. I mean, in a game that is now the Merchant Marines probably, again, in the top 4 or 5 in the conference. So a better game than today's game. Last game, 40-point win. This game probably should have been in that realm. Only a 28-point win. Not really their best stuff. Not really even a great, what you saw, not a great shooting performance either from a Max team that still shot 51%, but a little bit of 42% from 3. They just, they need to push a little bit harder. But they're there. They dominated the board. So let's give a round of applause on dominated boards. Only allowed 2 offensive rebounds. A lot of good stats to be happy with.
Hashtag box out theory. I love it.
Hashtag box out. We like talking Bob on box out. I got a little bit of a face palm when I asked him about box out issues last night with IWU as Concordia, won the board battle.
Unbelievable. Well, I think,
again, a solid game from YU, but not the best. Well, hopefully we'll see more of that at the MSAC Tuesday night. Get ready. If you're a fan, you can be there. I will try to be there. Hopefully we'll get some fans in there, but it's been great. Again, next time we do this, hopefully some of the fans will jump on and we'll have a little bit more dialogue.
Love it. And hit us up on Twitter, what you liked, what you didn't like, and let's get ready for an amazing home game. Hopefully Ryan Terrell breaks the all-time Yeshiva University max scoring record. Unbelievable job.
It's going to be incredible, guys. It's just fun. I'd be doing this anyways to nobody. So happy to do it to an audience. I'd be talking. My kids will be like, why you keep telling me about basketball right now? So all good. Get ready for a football Sunday. Enjoy yourselves. Who you got? Who you got in the Super Bowl matchup, Ari?
I mean, listen, I feel like Mahomes is taking the championship belt of him until proven otherwise, right? And especially with Brady semi-retiring ? I feel like Mahomes is taking the belt of him until proven otherwise. No,
one of the best Twitter chains in a while with Matt Castle and Brad.
I saw that was unbelievable.
That was amazing. Brady quit. It was fantastic stuff going on. Ryan Leaf getting in on the action. Hopefully, we'll see even more coming.
The truth is, my ideal scenario would have been, because they had the room to do it. The move would have been San Francisco moving Jimmy G in order to bring in Tom Brady, and just I wanted to see a scenario where Brady just hops from team to team and takes Jimmy G's job
everywhere, right? Just take it wherever he goes. Hopefully he gets his thumb back. So it should be interesting to watch today. I like that matchup tonight. It's gonna be fun.
I will take any quarterback. I'll tell you, look, and I'll take any quarterback coming out of the AFC. They are absolutely stacked. But
receivers too, stacked at receivers. I mean, like, again, stars all around. It's going to be, I expect, an offensive showcase today in Kansas City. Who do you got in the nightcap? I know we one thing I always heard, right, and we hear all the time, is it's really tough to beat somebody 3 times, right, in the same season. That's what they always tell you, right? Like, you play them the 3rd time, it's really that matchup goes back. But San Francisco really plays St. Louis incredibly well.
They do. I listen, every part of my brain is telling me, and Rams, slight correction. I knew we grew up with St. Louis, but my head is telling me LA. But you're right, San Francisco's played them well. Apparently momentum doesn't really exist in sports, but they're riding that momentum. And look, there is a part of me that really believes in destiny, for lack of a better term. I think partly because I don't have as much emotional investment in this LA team yet. I guess I'm gonna go 49ers from an emotional
There's
perspective.
Just something wrong about playing in your home stadium for the Super Bowl. I didn't like it.
I know. I hated it.
I just don't like it. I
just
don't like it. I don't think that should happen. Obviously, ticket sales being what they are and the way they give them to corporations anyways, it doesn't matter for the most part, but it's I hate that idea, but there's something, Stafford is pulling on the heartstrings a little bit. Maybe it's like Detroit penance, like Phil, just like he served his time, now he has the opportunity, but it may feel like, a little bit too much like LeBron year 1 in Miami, where it's like, they get there and still let down. But Cooper Kupp.
I do think, just like from an analytics perspective, I think they're just playing for who loses to the AFC team. But we'll see.
That's what we thought. Last time in KC, you never know what you're going to get with them. That's why it's going to be interesting. It should be fun. Hopefully, we'll do this broadcast again. We'll see it. Why you rank last thing for the go? What do you think YU is going to come out as? Basically stay the same? You think IWU pushes them back? Do we think? I think IWU.
I think IWU, and part of this could be because we're kind of so scarred because we saw them just play us so tough. I feel like they're in such a tough neighborhood that even though their loss last night, I don't want to understate it, was a bad loss. That was about as bad a loss as you'll see an elite team lose, a top 5 team lose. But they're in such a tough neighborhood. I can't see their rankings suffering that much in such a way that it pushes Yeshiva out of the top 10. So I feel like if Yeshiva lands anywhere in the top 10, it's probably as much or more than they deserve.
Yeah, I see a little push down. I agree with you. I see a little push down, but I see them still sticking. Right, I think they're going from 7 to 8. But you also got
Don't
Wash
get
U
me-
now, right? Losing twice. So it's you start to get these really good teams that are now going to be out of the top 5. Wash U will not be in the top 5. IW will not be in the top 5, right? So where do you sit them right now? It's a little bumpy at the 6 to 10 spot, and sort of who you hold back.
Look, there are some tremendous teams in this, in this top part of the league. Obviously the Randolph-Macons, but the Mariettas. I mean, you have some bulldozer programs, and I think we all believe that Yeshiva has the capacity, the capability to hang with these teams on their best night. But listen, that's what it's about now. We're not going to be able to prove any of that until the tournament starts.
Yeah, you're gonna have 8 teams from the CCIW and the WIAC together, right? With the Platteville's and the Oshkoshes and Elmhurst and Wheaton, and right, like these are teams that may sit in the top 20, maybe in the top 15 at the end of this, before the tournament starts. So, a lot of familiarity in those groups, and then you get to throw in the Johns Hopkins and the Yeshivas and the others, and Emory is streaking, and you got some really good teams. So it's going to be fun. I'm happy I'm not a voter. I don't have to worry about these things. I just worry about when the next game is and where we're eating after the game.
I love it. Unbelievable. Natan, this is amazing. Well, listen, in the Golan Burgers and Grill battle, we all know what the correct answer is.
Exactly.
But,
we're there. Peace. Have an awesome Sunday, and thank you again for all our watchers. We appreciate it, and hope to speak to you guys soon.